The Pillars of Creation, one of the greatest photographs captured by the Hubble telescope. I'm pretty sure some of you are familiar with this image if you really are an avid space geek. Guess what? Hubble's apprentice, the James Webb Space Telescope, granted us a whole new look at this spectacular object in space. More vivid, more detailed, more fun. It's like seeing it in from a whole other perspective. Admit it, we got captivated by the Pillars of Creation, but we do not exactly know what these vibrant structures are that appear to be leaking smoke in space. Are you a lover of space facts? Well, you have come to the right place, as we are here to explain to you in detail what actually is going on inside the majestic Pillars of Creation. How the Hubble telescope captured the Pillars of Creation. It was 1995, 5 years after the monumental Hubble telescope was sent into orbit, when the telescope took one of the best space images at that time. The Hubble telescope captured what seemed like a massive hand drifting in space, like a colossal hand of some celestial deity, with innumerable teeming stars and galaxies present in the background. The Pillars of Creation are within the Eagle Nebula, roughly 6,500 light-years away from Earth. This image became an iconic depiction of everything that the cosmos still has to offer. Maybe you're wondering, it was the 1990s. How did such a telescope capture this beauty so far away with the limited technology we had back then? How is it different from the telescopes we have here on Earth? Let's start with the Earth's atmosphere. Earth's atmosphere consists of a combination of gases that fully surrounds our planet. This atmosphere affects and blocks some of the light that comes from space, which means that if we take a look with the most powerful telescope here on Earth, we will not be able to capture the greatest crystal clear images of the universe. This is why the Hubble telescope was launched into space, high above the Earth and its atmosphere. It is not the sort of telescope that you look through with your own eyes. Hubble uses a digital camera. It captures photographs like a mobile phone and then uses radio waves to transmit the pictures back to Earth. The Hubble then captured the Pillars of Creation with the wide-field planetary camera too. The snapshot was taken with light emitted by different elements in the cloud and appears as a different hue in the composite image: green for hydrogen, red for singly ionized sulfur, and blue for double ionized oxygen atoms. In late 2014, the Hubble revisited the Pillars with that instrument's more advanced successor, the Wide Field Camera 3. The image has higher resolutions and shows the base of the Pillars and more of the region surrounding it. In the span of roughly 20 years, the jet-like feature blasting away from one of the young stars became 60 billion miles longer, implying that the material in the jet was flying at a speed of about 450,000 miles per hour. But just lately, Hubble's successor, the James Webb Space Telescope, revealed yet another breathtaking image of the Pillars of Creation, offering us a more comprehensive look at this space spectacle. Webb versus Hubble, the Pillars of Creation. On October 19, 2022, it was Hubble telescope's turn to show the world the stunning images of the famous Pillars of Creation, which had been greatly anticipated since the launch of the monumental telescope. Both Webb and Hubble are space-based telescopes, although they differ in many ways. Hubble observes ultraviolet light, visible light, and just a little speck of infrared, whereas Webb predominantly looks at the universe in infrared. The Webb telescope proved to be 100 times stronger than the Hubble telescope in terms of magnification, and the image of the Pillars of Creation captured by Webb was a living example of how powerful this telescope is. The background light in the Hubble image provides the impression of a sunrise, beginning in yellows at the bottom before transitioning to light green and darker blues towards the top. These hues indicate the thickness of the dust all around the Pillars, which obscures many more stars in the overall region. In contrast, the background light in Webb's photograph appears in blue hues, which highlight the hydrogen atoms and depict an abundance of stars scattered throughout the scene, presenting a more dynamic and bright viewpoint on this gem. Both perspectives show us what is happening locally. Although Hubble reveals much more thick layers of dust, Webb displays more of the stars, which sparkle in the background. Not just that, the Webb telescope also captured the Pillars of Creation in several wavelengths, including in mid-infrared. Just look at that photo, a new perspective that invokes a chilling tone. The thousands of stars that exist in this region seem to disappear, as normal stars do not emit much mid-infrared light. It is basically a seemingly endless blanket of gas and dust. The discovery of dust in Webb's mid-infrared instrument is practically essential, since dust is the fundamental element for star formation. These looming, leaden-hued pillars of gas and dust shining at the rims are hinting at all the activity happening within the pillars. This gave us a new version of a familiar landscape. The Webb's near-infrared photo of the pillars is overflowing with stars, and the faint red dots on the edges of the columns are newborn stars, barely a few 100,000 years old according to the Webb team. More accurate star counts will help establish a deeper understanding of how stars originate and burst out of dusty clouds over millions of years. But what precisely is inside the pillars of creation? Why is it structured this way? Let's take a closer look at the marvelous pillars of creation. Have you ever wondered why they are nicknamed the pillars of creation? Well, that is because it serves as a nursery for millions of stars. It is the home of nascent stars that are acquiring material from dust clouds. You may notice the brilliant red orbs that often have diffraction spikes and sit outside of the dusty pillars are the freshly born stars in the Webb telescope image. The pillars are composed entirely of gas and dust, which have such high densities that the resulting gravity pushes the gas to contact and produce stars. Along the edges of the pillars, as you can observe, are wavy lines, which appears more like flowing lava. These are ejections from stars that are still developing. Young stars regularly shoot out jets that can interact within clouds of material, like these thick pillars of gas and dust. This occasionally also results in bow shocks, which can generate wavy patterns like a boat does when it moves through water. These pillars are unbelievably gigantic. The pillar on the left is 4 light-years long. That is almost 25 trillion miles, 40 trillion kilometers. To put things into perspective, our solar system would fit just fine in one of the teeny tiny finger-like protrusions at the tops of the pillars. Now, this huge nursery of stars may be named the pillars of creation, but it might as well be called the pillars of destruction. While the pillars is a nursery for future stars, a group of massive young stars is also progressively killing the gas and dust inside the pillars. The ultraviolet light from new stars erodes the pillars of dust and gas in a process called photoerosion. The gas is not being passively heated up and gently blown out into space. The gaseous pillars are actually becoming ionized, a process by which electrons are stripped off of atoms and heated up by radiation from the massive stars. And then, gas and dust is being destroyed by the star's strong winds, which are sandblasting away the tops of these pillars. These stars are slowly chipping away the pillars. Do you want to hear one more chilling fact about these pillars? Well, these pillars might not exist anymore. The pillars are 6,500 light-years away, which implies that we are witnessing them from when they were created 6,500 years ago. Who knows? Maybe a massive supernova nearby wiped out the existence of these pillars.